Any of you who have read the book know that this is kind of an epic story. It starts out with a girl who is 14 years old, and she's growing up in 1980s North Carolina. And then the second part of the book, something happens to her in the first part of the book. And the book is about what happens for the rest of her into middle age. What happened to her when she was 14 affected her relationships with people, her relationships with her best friend, her parents, people that she comes in contact with her life. I hope that if you haven't read it, that you'll give it a read. I've been told that it's even though it looks really thick, and it is, it's really a quick read. And so I hope that you'll give it a try if you haven't read it. And so I'm going to do my reading now. And this part takes place in the third part of the book, so it's toward the end. But Scout, who is the name of my protagonist, she is reflecting on how she meets Charlie, who is her best friend, her lifelong best friend. Charlie has dealt with a ceaseless amount of crime scenes and victims over the past several years. All kinds of deaths, murders, rapes, shootings, suicides, stabbings, and some of the ugliest things that human beings do to each other or to themselves. His mother died of natural causes on an average sunny spring day while working at the hardware store, and instead of this thoughtful and stoic SBI agent, he just turned into that sad little boy again, the one with no father, the one who had come up to me at the church Easter egg hunt when we were 5 years old and asked me if he could have one of my eggs. I remembered it like it was yesterday. I found 10 plastic eggs during the hunt, and each one was supposed to have jelly beans in it. A tow-headed boy in desperate need of a haircut, with a red and white striped shirt, blue shorts, and bare feet, walked up to me as I sat by myself under an azalea bush near the steps of the church's entrance. My mom had given me a plastic pastel-colored basket she bought for a nickel from a yard sale, and I used it for this egg hunt, my very first one. Eyeballing this scrawny boy, who I had never seen before, and who had ketchup smeared on the sides of his mouth, I asked him who he was. "Charlie Porter," he answered. "Where's your mom and dad?" I asked him, with the authority of an adult. He turned and pointed at a young blonde woman in a peach-colored sundress sitting at one of the picnic tables by herself. "That's my mom." Then he said, turning back at me, "I don't have a dad." I considered that for a second, realizing that I had never heard of someone not having a dad before. So I handed this Charlie Porter boy one of my eggs. It was purple. He opened it, and out dropped 3 jelly beans and a slip of paper. "That's the special egg," I said to him, excited that I was the one who found it. "What's a special egg?" he asked me. "It's the egg with the paper in it. It means you get an extra prize," I said, recalling Pastor Rhodes's instructions before the egg hunt began. "Take it over to Pastor Rhodes and he will give you the prize." Charlie held the jelly beans in one hand and the purple egg and the piece of paper in the other. Then he handed the piece of paper back to me. "Here, you should have the prize. You found the special egg, not me." He was right. I did find it. But there was something interesting about this strange little boy who was shorter than me and who made me feel like we had been friends before, once upon a time in a land far, far away. Not long ago, when I was in a drugstore, I read something on a greeting card that said, "Souls recognize each other by vibes, not by appearances." That was the best description I ever came across about what transpired between me and Charlie Porter on that warm spring day so long ago. Taking the piece of paper from him, I grabbed his hand and put it in between our hands and held them together. I picked up my basket and walked with him hand in hand, leading him over to Pastor Rhodes, who was standing next to the grill with the sizzling hot dogs. "Pastor?" I said, getting his attention. Pastor Rhodes looked down at me. "Yes, Miss Scout," he said, smiling, holding a pair of tongs in his hand. "Charlie and I have found the special egg," I said, unclasping our hands and giving him the piece of paper. 3 minutes later, we were sitting under a large dogwood tree, sharing the biggest chocolate bunny I've ever seen. And now, 29 years later, almost to the day that we shared that chocolate bunny and became the best of friends, I held him in Harper Hospital as he wept the kind of weeping that has no tears or noise, the kind of weeping that a grown man does when he loses his mom forever. Sorry, I cried when I wrote that, and I didn't realize I'd cry when I read it.